All right, everybody, welcome to Best Coast Podcast. I'm your host, JJ. This is your host, Zach. This is where camaraderie brings fans together. Well, one last game of football is upon us. The big game, what we all know and talk about, what we all been waiting for. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm rooting for the Meteor, but I don't know about you.
I'm also rooting for natural disaster and or meteor. I think that'd be perfect. This is it's interesting to see how, for as unhappy the majority of the football watching world is with this, how many people have jumped over to the Eagles side just to be like, man, fuck the Chiefs. Fuck this.
Honestly, I don't know what to root for. I don't know what to root for, the three-peat or for Saquon to just do his thing and just kind of get like overwhelming vengeance, like the best kind of vengeance on the Giants for doing what
If
they
I'm a
did to him.
Giants fan and Saquon wins the Super Bowl and let's say the MVP, let's just double up on the fun. He goes for 250 and 3 touchdowns, something crazy like that.
Right.
If I'm a Giants fan, I probably have to find a new team. I don't know if I could ever forgive my franchise for wasting a talent like that.
And especially going to your legit rivals.
Yeah. You have to you get this put in Yeah, it would be interesting. I was like, hey, have the Eagles pull it off and win, and have the Giants have to open up there on the following season, on Thursday night, just to really rub it in their face. They hoist a banner.
Oh, that would be so epic. That would be so epic.
The Giants don't deserve to play an opening weekend. They're fucking terrible.
Honestly, if I was Philadelphia and they did win it, I'd wait until the Giants came because they're going to have one home game.
No, you gotta hang that banner day one. That's a big deal. You're not going to wait around to hoist the flag there. So, yeah, I'm excited it's here. There's a lot of talk going around about what could happen and what couldn't happen. And, I think that maybe some people on the NFL and the Chiefs side, they protest a little too much. No, man, we're not getting calls. It's like they talk about it a lot for, two people who allegedly aren't in cahoots with each other.
Right.
I'm just saying, I've also been watching a lot of crazy 9/11 conspiracy stuff. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in that zone right now. Nothing makes sense. Nothing adds up.
I mean, they're not a sports franchise. They're an entertainment industry. They're not even a legit sports franchise or whatever you call it. So technically could.
They're all franchises, but I mean, if you think about it, you get into some weird territory if you're going to allow gambling on stuff like this, but have a fixed outcome. You can't gamble on WWE for a reason,
Mm-hmm. So I think you actually might be able to gamble on WWE.
I don't want to meet the person who's gambling on stuff that's scripted.
Neither would I.
That's knowingly scripted. That's either you're the dumbest or the most obscenely wealthy person I've ever met. Yeah, it's gonna be. I hope it's a close game. I think it's gonna be actually pretty exciting. There's gonna be a lot of back and forth. I think we're gonna see some crazy shit. Look where we are. We're just barely in the beginning of February, and things are crazy out there in the world right now. The Super Bowl should be just as crazy to go along with it. Let's go.
Let's go. It is
for the last Super Bowl. Hey, last Super Bowl ever. Let's go big, America. let's really just make it the last one for a reason.
No, Rams got to win another one.
Nah, I don't think. I think we're going to be in the Super Bowl of the wasteland for surviving after this, James. So
until next football season starts.
But speaking of speaking of the Super Bowl, we're looking at some prop bets, and so we wanted to run through those, and then we'll let you know who our respective picks for the game. Feel free to play along at home.
Here's I'll go with our prop bets first here.
Yeah.
And we did the instead of doing heads or tails, we changed it up a little bit. We said team to call the coin toss correct. So Chiefs are the visitors. So if the Chiefs call it correct, Zach says no, I said yes. And then we went with the always famous opening kickoff on a touch is to be a touchback. Zach said,
I think he's going to be touchback. I think the kicker's going to be so fucking jacked up on adrenaline. He's going to kick that thing off the back wall of the stadium. So
I'm going to go with no on that one. Just because they have an official ball.
he pops it up.
Yeah, main reason too is they have an official ball, and they're not allowed to scuff that ball up. So it's just a brand new ball that they're not allowed to fuck up, because then it goes into their Hall of Fame.
Right.
So it's the game used ball.
I seriously think that he's still. I go touchback. I think the guy boots it.
Okay, we'll see.
So, yeah,
because it all depends. If it's Buckner, I could see it definitely getting booted. But if it's the Eagles guy, I don't see it making it to the end zone.
Okay, well, we'll know in a couple days.
Yep. And then the next one we went with: will there be a defensive or special team score? And we both unanimously said yes.
Yeah.
We're both very positive that there's going to be a defensive score on this.
Pretty emphatic yeses. I think this is going to be a wide open game. I think you're going to see a lot of back and forth. Part of it being wild means defensive touchdowns, strip sacks, pick sixes, fun stuff like that.
Right. I mean, my bet for the over under is 52. So I went with that.
Yeah. Would you take on that? Out of curiosity, did you take the over?
I took the over. Yeah. I took the over.
Yeah.
And then we went to the largest lead of the game of 13.5. As I said no, because I think the Eagles can keep up with them in the beginning, and then it will get down to the fourth quarter where they'll still be within 7. So,
see, I think that the Eagles are going to come out and whoop that ass, and Kansas City is going to, through some opportune calls, perhaps, and maybe non-calls, are going to climb back into it. But I think Philly's definitely going to be up by over 13.5 early at some point in the game. And watch, and mark my fucking words, every party you're at, look around, not a single person there is going to feel like a lead of that size is safe.
Nope.
not a single person. Not a single person, no. Dude. Yeah.
And then the next one, this is always a fun one. At least I always think it's a fun one. Last team to score. And we're both fanatic that it's going to be the Chiefs. Yeah. It's probably going to be the game-winning touchdown or game-winning field goal, and the Chiefs are going to three-peat with Harrison Buckner, 47-yard field goal.
It's Butker. There's no end in it. Just Harrison Butker.
Butker?
Butker. Butker. Yeah.
Okay. And then another fun one is, will there be a successful 2-point conversion? And we were both thinking the Eagles are going to do the tush push and get a 2-point conversion here.
Right, that's going to happen. I also think that as there's going to be all this offensive fireworks, Andy Reid, he's got a fairly deep offensive playbook. Same thing. And Sirianni and Kellen Moore, they know how to manipulate the field very, very well. So
right,
I think you're probably going to see 2-point conversion, at least an attempt from both teams.
I can definitely see that too. Yeah. I can definitely see that too. And then we went team with the team to record the longest play from scrimmage. And me and Zach both think it's going to be Saquon breaking the 70-plus touchdown. Or that, or you're thinking Hollywood Brown, right?
Or no, because that's the Chiefs. I think the Eagles just have a much more explosive offense. Saquon has shown multiple times over the playoffs already that he can take off and take it to the house. I also feel like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are guys in the right situation and the right play. They can run free. I mean, this is a very dynamic Eagles offense. And the Chiefs are going to get caught looking in the backfield at Jalen Hurts and Saquon at some point. It's going to happen. With the RPO, is Saquon going? Is he staying back there? What's Jalen doing with the ball? Meanwhile, A.J. Brown is 10 yards past you. You're done. You're cooked. They're 6.
Right. And all I have to do is
possibility, but I feel like the NFL script writers are going to throw everybody a bone. We're going to get, a Saquon, first play after a touchback, fucking 80 yards to the house. We're going to get one of those, I think.
Right. I can see that. I can definitely see that. The next one will this is definitely a Super Bowl prop bet. Will any player cry during the national anthem? And I think there's always someone crying during the national anthem, even just on a regular game. I feel like
I
NFL
agree.
Player or coaches crying.
Right. I remember last time these teams played, Sirianni was very emotional during the national anthem, and it got politicized. This is what a real patriot looks like. It's just like, dude, it's like, let's not try to humanize Nick Sirianni. He's not a good guy. Like he looks like the type of guy that like curses at dogs in the street. So, you know, might be him again. Who knows? But I also agree with James that someone will cry during the national anthem.
I mean, it's the national anthem. I mean, if it doesn't bring you to tears, then maybe you haven't served long
What
enough.
makes me cry before the Super Bowl is like the 7.5 hours pregame. Like I could get drunk, pass out, sober up, wake up, get drunk again,
Yes.
and still be waiting for kickoff.
I know. What time's the game supposed to start at again?
It's 5:30 my time.
5:30 your time? Okay, yeah,
So that's
3:30
3:30
my
your
time.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just way too long. I don't get that, but whatever. We're not here to debate that.
Right.
Will Taylor Swift be shown more than 5.5 times? I mean, that's a given.
Yeah, for sure.
That's an easy yes. I don't see how that's not shown. I can see them showing multiple replays of the same clip over and over. Whoever she's sitting next to, Mama or his brother.
Mama Kelsey. It's going to be her, Mama Kelsey, and Brittany Mahomes.
And what about not Travis, Jason? Jason is going to be in there somewhere.
I don't know if he's going to be in the booth. I don't know what his role is in this.
Oh yeah, but this is Fox. Doesn't he do CBS?
He does Amazon
or ABC.
Or no,
Amazon.
Yeah. Then
yeah.
Then I guess then I imagine he'll be up there too. With what's his wife's name?
I don't remember his wife's name.
Kylie. Yeah, I think it's Kylie Kelsey. She seems actually like a nice, normal person who's like, oh my God, like what is this crazy shit I've married into? These people are crazy. The fuck?
Honestly, but she seems like she loves that kind of crazy shit. If you like see her in their podcast, she's like all into what her husband does and how they act. So,
but I'm saying it's like it's like the whole other like Taylor Swift is about to be your sister-in-law, like crazy shit. Like,
that'd be pretty nuts.
I gotta say, it's like that's crazy. Like, though she seems like she came from like a somewhat normal background, and like they met on a dating app. Like that's pretty normal stuff. And like, hey,
right.
Aunt Taylor's coming over with Uncle Travis. It's like,
right.
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy.
All right, and then the last one we did was the over under on the length of the national anthem at 1:58, and I think that we're both thinking yes. Who would you say it was again?
It was John Batiste. He's a New Orleans musician. He's a couple other people are coming up with him to perform, but I think it's going to be like a longer, a little more drawn out. He's a jazz musician, so that stuff kind of free flows a little bit sometimes. So
right. I can definitely see him free flowing on there.
I'm sure there's an amount of time he can't go over. I'm sure the NFL was like, you need to keep it under this, dude. We got a schedule to keep here. We got
an actual event to do.
No, we have advertisers to pay. Let's not get it twisted. There are people who paid $7 to $8 million each for a commercial. We gotta make sure we get those checks cashed. So,
and then if you want to bet alongside me, these are like I put down $20 total on all these bets. I did the over 51. Right now, the last I looked at, it was at 49.5. So I gave myself a few more points. When I first looked at it, it was at 48. I was like, nah, a field goal could be more than a field goal over 48. I did the first down of the game of Saquon, so I'm hoping the Eagles get the ball first. Again, I'm hoping the Chiefs get it right, and then Saquon gets the ball, and then there you go, first down of the game. And then I bet on this one twice. I did, so I'm doubling down. It's any QB to throw for over 300 yards, and then any player to rush for more than 150 yards, and then I parlayed them as one. So I bet on that three times. So I did the 300 and the 150, and then I parlayed them as one. So I don't know. Saquon has a big game, gets over 150 yards. I definitely see Mahomes getting close to 300 yards.
Yeah. I think Mahomes throws for over 300. I think Saquon breaks 150. I think Jalen Hurts you're going to look up and it's like, how does Jalen Hurts already have 4 touchdowns? Like, he's going to have 2 rushing, 2 throwing. You're going to get one from Saquon, like throwing a defensive one. I think Mahomes is going to do some slicing and dicing of his own.
Right.
Yeah. I am definitely expecting an offensive shootout. But I know how I think it ends.
And then my last three would be a successful 2-point conversion, um, the tush push to be done over 3.5 times. I'm surprised that's so low, given how many times the Eagles do the tush push.
Yeah, that's actually that's a giveaway right there.
Yeah, I was just like, wait, and it was in the positive side for some reason. Like, I don't know, like, what happens if the Chiefs go up and do the tush push? That still counts. I mean, it's a tush push.
Right. But
It
is
didn't
it?
say the Eagles.
I think they just consider only the Eagles can do that in a certain formation because Mahomes scrambles for first downs all the time. Like that little just
Right.
sneaks behind his
I
guys.
think it's just that the formation that they got to do. I think they just got to line up and it snap. I don't know if I actually got to push. I should have looked more into it. I can look more into it after the podcast. And then my last one and my favorite one, Eagles to have a roughing the passer penalty. That's an astounding yes. You look at Mahomes the wrong way, and you get a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty.
Someone breathed on them. I actually think they pick up a couple. I think you're going to get some unnecessary roughnesses on both sides. I think the game is also going to be chippy. I think especially with that Philly defense. It's the Philadelphia Eagles defense. These guys don't play nice. There's a reputation there to uphold, and I think they have the ability to bully some of the skill players of the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely the battle of the trenches is going to be interesting to watch all game long because the Eagles are going to be able to the pass rush, and same thing with the Chiefs. But it's all about how the Eagles' offensive line does. If they can hold up against that Chiefs Spagnuolo and his blitzes and his creative blitzes, then I don't know. Eagles have a real good chance of doing this.
I agree, and I think also the threat of Saquon back there, like all the time. Like, do you blitz? What if he leaks out the backfield? Because now we got Saquon Barkley wide open in the flat with 15 yards of grass ahead of him from to pick up steam. So I think that's going to be something that Spagnuolo, he's going to blitz. That's what he does. I mean, he's got a great approach with this defense. So he's going to bring it. I just think you're going to see it maybe a little less than you normally would, simply because of the Saquon factor.
Right, because you got to account for him at every play, every snap. You got to account for the guy.
There are so many players on both sides of the football for both these teams. You need to account for every single play. Like it's the Super Bowl. It's a matchup. These are two very, very, very good teams. Enough has been said about the routes that they each took to get here. Yeah.
And honestly, I think one thing I really think is if the Chiefs get bogged down in the red zone area, I'm saying from like the 5 to like the 35, they need to watch out because I don't think there's going to be a quagmire there. I don't think they can score in that area. I think the Eagles' defense is a strong enough zone and to kind of box them out. If they get down to the 5, then I can see them score a touchdown. But I wish I could bet on this. Like the Chiefs won't score somewhere between the 5 and the 35-yard line.
Okay.
When then it's the reverse for the Eagles. The Eagles are going to need to get into the red zone to score on this Chiefs defense. I don't think if they don't get in there, I don't think they can score.
Right. I still think that there's going to be a couple of big shots that the Eagles are going to take, and they're going to get over the top. I think they're going to get over the top or catch someone coming across on a quick slant, and we've all seen it happen. The defensive backs screen themselves, the safety plays it wrong, and gone. 70 yards later. Right.
And that's what I mean. They need, but I'm saying they more need to aim to get into the red zone every time, and then get to they need nickel and dime to the red zone.
It's interesting what you say. About the red zone with the Chiefs, because I am expecting Travis Kelce to have a kind of like how he did in the AFC Championship game, a bigger than expected role, because look, he's not running out there and faking anybody out anymore. But his ability to sneak out and sit down in zones and get those little 5 to 7 yard pickups is huge. Right. It's a big piece of what allows the Chiefs offense to get into a rhythm and a flow and to get deep into their playbook and into their game plan. So that's where I think in between that 35 to 5 yard window you were talking about, I actually think that that's where you're going to see Travis Kelce, do some work. And that's where we're going to hit the over on the Taylor Swift side, because every time Travis Kelce gets near that football, it's going to show her face up there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Every time he does get it, it's going to Taylor Swift's going to be on TV real quick.
Exactly. Every time it hits the over, some angel gets his wings or something like that. So
something like that.
Yeah.
If you notice too, we didn't do any player bets besides maybe the Saquon. This is a Super Bowl. You don't know what's going to happen. Personally, I've gotten burned so many times with this Eagles offense of either Saquon not scoring and then Jalen Hurts scoring, or the vice versa. So I stopped betting on this team to get player touchdowns. I've been burned too many times, because Saquon will get into the 5-yard line, and the next thing you know, the tush push for 5 yards, and it's a
Right.
Jalen Hurts touchdown. So don't bet on that. I would not bet on either one of them to score a touchdown. One of them's going to score a touchdown. I just can't tell you who.
They're both going to score a touchdown.
You hope so. Everybody hopes so.
No, I fully think that you're going to see a lot of everyone on both sides of the ball here offensively. I think you're going to see have pretty good nights. Everyone's going to get a lot of touches. Everyone's going to get a lot of looks. I think the officials will let them play right up until it's time to not let them play.
To make sure that the Chiefs three-peat.
That is my pick. As much as I hate to see it and don't want it to happen, I think that the officials, they're going to put their finger on. They're going to keep it close, and then they're going to put their finger on the scale at some point. And it's going to be like either a phantom PI or a missed PI, which is how James's team got to the Super Bowl one year. Or like a weird, like a missed call, or like a call that they get totally wrong. And even with every NFL official available for their opinion, they're still not going to get it right after going to the booth, and that's going to be the difference in the game.
Right. Like that incompletion that should have been called against the Bills.
Yeah, exactly. If anything,
I don't know how you call that control when both hands are just coming to slam down on the ball like
and
that.
I'm sorry. And if anything, that was an interception. I don't know how you come up with that. That was a Chiefs completion out of all that stuff that happened on that play.
Yeah. No, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that every time I see that replay, and it pops up every once in a while on my newsfeed. Still, I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? Who knows what these referees will do? Maybe they're getting called out too much and they back off and they let the Eagles win. No.
Sure. I mean, stranger things have happened. Who knows? I mean, does the power go out again here in New Orleans?
Jeez, that was wild what happened to the Niners that year.
I love a good conspiracy theory, and I thought this one was a little crazy until I realized it probably wasn't. Was that the state of Louisiana owed Eddie DeBartolo a favor? And Eddie DeBartolo is not a guy that you renege on your favors to.
So like, achoo! Oh shit! What happened to the lights for 15? What was it? A 15-20 minute break delay?
Yeah, it was a while. It was a hot minute,
Yeah, dude, that was wild, dude. I remember watching that game. Like, dude, are they going to be able to finish this game, or is this they're just going to give it to the Niners?
Power was getting turned back on one way or the other, but yeah, and that was where the game pivoted. The Niners came roaring back after that.
Right. That was yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I thought the Ravens came roaring back after that.
No, the Niners were getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, the Ravens came roaring back.
No, the Niners were getting their asses kicked, and then they came roaring back, and then it was back and forth till the end.
Okay.
Trust me, I remember the game.
I know you probably remember better. You definitely remember better than I do. So,
yeah.
And in these games, you're always looking for game records, like what was it? What was the Ravens?
Ray Lewis.
Linebacker. Ray Lewis, thank you. I wanted to call him Ray Lewis.
That was Ray Lewis's last game, and like he announced, I think right before the playoffs started, that this was going to be it, and they all went and won it for Ray and all that. If you actually look at the footage from that game, Ray Lewis was not like a big part of it. He got fucking manhandled by the 49ers offensive line. Ed Reed, on the other hand,
was the manhandling
doing Ed Reed stuff. Terrell Suggs was a big difference maker out there. But remember, this is a game that also had like Patrick Willis, out there, and Navarro Bowman, and there were some fucking gangsters on both sides of the football. That was the first Harbaugh. That was a crazy game. That was another nuts one, dude. It's the Super Bowl. It's supposed to be kind of like the spectacle of all spectacles.
Right. These are the two best teams in the league for the reason, and Eagles deserve it. And say what you want, but the Chiefs have done enough to win games. At least
a W is a W, and that's all that matters. The Eagles, I think, had a harder path to get here, which is why I think they're a little bit more of a battle tested team.
Mm-hmm.
But you're playing against, the officials and the overall sentiment on the field and the stars and all that kind of stuff. And it's almost like subliminal at this point. Like, do they get the call? Do they not get the call? Like, even with the officials out there, I wonder if they know really. I want to hope that they know what they're seeing and doing, and just don't have there be any egregious missed calls in this game. For fuck's sake,
Right.
Call a hold on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It'll be the first one yet. They have not had they have not had a holding call called against them, dude. Like, fuck.
I feel like there has not been many holding calls in this playoffs, to be honest.
Nothing excessive.
Right.
It seemed like everything they called it pretty fair. The only like real crazy like penalty thing was was Washington jumping off sides like 6 times in a row.
That was great to watch. That was great entertainment, dude. I was laughing. I was enjoying that.
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, we're going to say, oh yeah, we can award a touchdown if we think they're doing this on purpose.
Right, which was where exactly in the NFL rulebook does it say that? I would love to see that particular paragraph if I'm what's his name?
I'm pretty sure that there is, because you can't just keep doing a penalty. I'm pretty sure that's happened in the past where they awarded someone a touchdown because they kept doing it. I don't feel like the Commanders were doing it intentionally. I mean, yeah, they're intentionally jumping off sides, but they're trying their hardest to read the snap count because you need to get that. You need to try to get that
second, quarter second beat. Yeah, they're playing right up to the very, very edge of it. So, I mean, look, we saw what was the first time that we saw earlier this year that the touchback field goal in San Diego.
Oh, that was wild too, dude.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
And apparently Harbaugh's wanted to do that for his entire career. He's always wanted to do that.
That crazy bastard has. That guy is nuts.
I remember watching that game and just being like, I think we were watching it live together and we're both just doing the podcast. And we're both just like, what the fuck? Is he kicking it? Is he kicking it off?
Yeah.
And wait, they just called it 3 points for good because we have to listen to it on silent. We can't listen to it on blast. So we're both just like, what the fuck's going on here? Da 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 da. And yeah, that was amazing. I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, there's some good stuff this year. So yeah, who knows what crazy stuff will happen in the Super Bowl. So
I'm here for it. I mean, this is the last game of the season for a reason, and it should be a whole spectacle. So I'm ready for it.
It'll be a good one.
I just don't go to Super Bowl parties unless it's like with family, because then I know they know about football. Because I've been to a couple where they just annoy you with questions, and the people are like, someone's standing in the middle of TV trying to talk to you, and everybody's just kind of like doing this thing.
Okay, so it's like if it's a game like this where I don't really have a dog in the fight and don't really care, I'll go to a Super Bowl party. But no, like when the Niners are in, like no. Like I am staying at my house that day. That's not we're not going. This is important shit.
Right.
This is fucking important. We're staying here. So Super Bowl parties are fun. I've had some fucking great times at Super Bowl parties. I've gotten fucked up at Super Bowl parties and gone to work real hungover on Monday mornings. Again, I've said it for years. I feel like either move the Super Bowl to fucking Saturday or make Monday a holiday. This has to be one of the least productive days in America this coming Monday.
It has to be. To be. I was talking to this chick from work, and her husband works for a beer distributor. And they actually have the day off after the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of work leading up to this.
Oh yeah, she said they're going bonkers crazy trying to fulfill all their orders and trying to get everybody stocked up with beer. So I mean, hell, maybe I should have been a beer distributor. I could always have the Monday off after the Super Bowl.
I've known a couple dudes who were beer distributors, and it was fantastic. It was really cool. It was great. Yeah, I remember I was still living at home, and a friend pulled up, and like it was back in the days of Miller Genuine Draft, the black and gold cans. And that was what his van was painted as. He pulled in the driveway. And my dad was like, "They're just fucking. This is where we're at. Like, you guys are drinking this much. Like, what the fuck?"
Oh, it's free.
We're going pretty big at the time. We're pretty gung ho about how we approach things. So that was super fun.
Hey, when it's free, it's free. You just let it run down your throat.
We got a lot of free beer. We got a lot of free beer
I bet you did.
that particular hookup.
Any other good thoughts about the Super Bowl coming up here? That's been wandering around the back of your skull.
I mean, I just don't trust the officials anymore. The officials have shown themselves not to be real super trustworthy or accurate or stuff like that. I also feel like the way that the NFL, the officials, and the Chiefs keep saying that, like, no, we're not tilting it towards them. It's, I don't know,
All
man.
week long, I've heard it. All
That's
week
all
long,
we've
I've
heard.
heard it.
And I know what my eyes tell me, and I watch a lot of football, and I've watched a lot of football for a long time. Mahomes is getting more preferential treatment than the Pats during their.
I mean, we all see this too. With it doesn't matter what sport it is, baseball, football, basketball. The better the player, the more calls he gets, right? Or the
Right.
more in favor of calls they get.
Well,
So
it
like
is
LeBron, he gets all
that
kinds of calls his
was the
way,
exact example I was about to give.
right? And then
No,
great pitchers get that slight little edge more closer to the plate more a lot of times, or greater batter.
yeah, but baseball umpires have almost like enjoy making themselves the bad guy in the game now. I feel like it's theater for them, whereas I think NFL, NBA, NHL officials like, no, we're here to keep things moving, in one direction. We don't really want to be part of the show.
Right. Well, hockey, I feel like is the opposite because they'll call
Well,
plays to make up for bad calls and be like, okay, we'll give you another 2-minute penalty, and we've heard the
well,
hot mics on it.
yeah, makeup calls happen all over all pro sports.
Right.
So
But I feel like hockey has the most makeup calls. They're like, no, that was a little ticky tack, so we'll give you another one.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that one a little bit.
That's my opinion. If you've seen a lot of hockey games, they try if you look at a lot of hockey games, all the penalty minutes always equal out to they're always pretty much even. They're always like 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. Everybody's get until like a major fight breaks out, and then they got to give like the main guys instigators like a 10 and a 5, 10 and 5, and it's like, oh yeah,
a couple guys hit the showers early. Yeah, dude.
yeah.
Speaking of officials, did you hear about the umpire that MLB had to fire for gambling?
That was a wild story. That was a little
Yeah,
wild
like,
of a story.
well, I was like, why wasn't it a bigger deal when this guy got suspended before last season? He didn't ump all of last season. Like,
Right.
how did they keep this that much under fucking wraps?
Exactly, yeah. And from what I heard too, he calls a pretty solid game. Like he doesn't miss a lot of calls.
He's actually one of the better umpires. It was more just like
right.
there's no evidence that he ever bet on baseball or anything like that. Like it was actually really easy to track his betting history through whatever app they were on. But yeah, like MLB did typical, Manfred, fucking sneaky snake ass motherfucker.
Swipe. Right underneath his rug.
Dude, you know what else MLB did? You know the new owner they added to their 8-man executive council?
No.
John fucking Fisher.
I think that just deserves a moment of silence real quick. Okay, that was the stupidest thing they could have ever done. Like, why would they want this guy on their team after you've seen what he's done to the A's? Like, I want to be an A's fan so bad, but I can't trust this guy as an owner.
No, he's the worst. He really is absolutely terribly horrible. The fact that this just shows how deeper and deeper that both John Fisher and MLB never negotiated with the city of Oakland and the fans in Oakland with any good faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most terrible part of all of this is the whole time they had no intention of staying and got everybody's hopes up and like played a good game. It just really speaks to just the character of John Fisher and Dave Cavill. Fisher got rid of Cavill too. He cut bait with him. He's the worst person around ever. Again, I can't say enough bad things about him, and like I try not to wish bad things for people, but John Fisher, he's special. I wish bad things for him.
Yeah, because this is what he's done to the A's and that whole organization, the whole fan base, man.
It's terrible. It's like really upsetting for a lot of people, myself included. Like baseball's coming around, like A good friend of mine just sent me like an Instagram reel of like walk-off home runs in the postseason, but with like no announcers, just like stadium noise. And dude, I
Oh,
got
dude, that
chills.
must have been epic.
Yeah, you get chills. What, dude? The Joey Bats home run in Toronto. I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
get chills watching that, dude. That seventh inning was like one of the most spectacular bits of playoff sports I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. It was crazy, and it's like, man, I don't want to have to walk away from this and this amount of enjoyment. But damn you, John Fisher, and damn you, MLB. Like
Mm-hmm.
you ruined this.
Come be a Dodger fan.
Well, that's the easy move to troll Giant fans. It
Exactly.
is. I can't. You know, it's not the same.
No, I get it. Like
No,
once I became more of a Dodger
yeah,
fan, like it's not as fun as it was being an A's fan and trying to watch the A's
yeah,
and root for the A's to win.
yeah.
So
They were very Bay Area. They had a Bay Area vibe about them. You know, they were very, very much like part of the community. You know, the
their
energy,
whole drum line
and
in the bleacher seats.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So seriously, dude, just good luck, MLB. Yeah, keep working with this guy. Everybody involved with him, keep working with him. I can't wait to see how this works out. You know,
I just hope that stadium never gets built in Las Vegas and they just have to be stuck in Sacramento forever.
I still hope that things go so bad in Sacramento this year that they make them sell. They're like, cool, we'll put an expansion team in Vegas. Joe Lacob buys the A's. They go back to They go back to Oakland.
They need something, man. I don't get why you wouldn't want two Bay Area teams fighting out like they've had for like years and years and years and years.
What it comes down to is that the Giants are a fucking cash cow with that stadium, and if you take away, they people seem to think that like, oh well, if the A's aren't here, people will go to Giants games. I don't know a single A's fan who feels that way. Like they're just not going to go to baseball games. You know, like that's not a thing. And Rob Manfred even said something to that effect. Like, well, there's still baseball there. And it's like, so would you tell like a Yankees fan to go start watching the fucking Mets? Like, think about what's coming out of your mouth, dude. Again, it's just really disrespectful to A's fans and to the city of Oakland that has really done a lot for professional sports all the way around for years. Yeah, they floundered a little bit these last couple of years, but to be taking shots at them like this, I think is just really, again, bad taste and low in character.
I agree. I mean, Oakland didn't deserve it. I mean, I don't know how Oakland lost all their sports teams. They had like 3 sports teams.
I mean,
and now they're all gone.
Part of it did have to do with John Fisher. And everybody knew that once Lacob bought the Warriors that they were going to move across the bay. At least the Warriors are still in the fucking bay. You know, everyone else bounced. Like everyone else fucking up and left. Yeah. So that's pretty horrible. You know, still all the way around. But speaking of the Warriors, they pulled off a big, giant, super mega trade at the trade deadline for one and only Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler finally gets his wish, leaves Miami. Warriors give up a protected first-round pick, Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schrader, and then a couple bench guys. So Jimmy Buckets taking the place, really, of Andrew Wiggins in the rotation. A much better scorer. Andrew Wiggins played better defense. And which version of Jimmy Butler is going to show up in the Bay?
I was going to say, and how toxic is that locker room going to be with Butler and what's his face?
I think Jimmy Butler's coming in with like, hey, let's get to work here,
because he's going to work with
everyone. Yeah, that's part of it too. Is everybody wants
Stephen
to play
Curry.
Steph.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to work with Steph, and I'm sure that behind the scenes conversations were had with Jimmy Butler to make sure that he was going to come here and feel comfortable and play. Is it enough? Is it enough for the Warriors to like make a run? I don't think so.
Maybe. I mean, if Curry keeps dropping buckets, he can take that team, you know?
Right. You know, and there's still some other pieces there. I mean, is Jimmy Butler, and yeah, you run out that starting lineup, you know, when you factor in like, Jonathan Kuminga, Pozinski, Trace Davis-Jackson, and then you got, Stephen and Jimmy Butler up at the front. Like, that's dangerous, dude. Like, look, this is the Warriors. Now, granted, you don't have Clay anymore, but still, this is like when they were running KD out there with those other 3 dudes. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, they're just kind of going to have to deal with what happened in LA.
Well, that's what I think is happening, is they're setting this up for us to get like an epic fucking 7-game, Warriors, Lakers, LeBron, Luka, Steph, and Jimmy Butler just old-fashioned Western Conference shootout.
Dude, that will be epic. Dude, I'm still surprised that they let Luka go, man. It's not even. It's been about a week, and I'm still surprised that they let him go, dude.
Dude, I read this crazy theory that you know how Mark Cuban sold the majority stake in the team. He only owns like 15% is what he kept.
Yeah, yeah.
And he sold it to some dudes who were the casino guys. And they're like, hey, man, we can use this and use our power now that we've bought into the state of Texas to turn it, like, get gambling legalized here. So we could have, like, you know, turn it into a casino and a basketball team and just like hella money. Apparently in the Texas state constitution, it is actually enshrined that they cannot legalize gambling in that state. So now there's this crazy idea that there's get rid of Luka and they're going to try to tank it so bad that they become the basketball team that goes to Vegas. Which I think is too far fetched.
Yeah, that's because you don't go for Anthony Davis, and that team's set up defensively to still make a run at this shot, even without Luka.
Dude, for sure. Without Luka, it changes their team for sure.
Ivory and what's his face, the other Splash brother, is on there.
Clay.
So
Klay Thompson, yeah.
Clay, yeah. So I mean, they're still able to make a run. So that theory doesn't hold water to me. I feel like more like either Luka's going to retire at the end of his contract, he's going to go back to wherever and be a farmer, or you know, he's just like.
There were other rumors that he had always wanted to go and play in LA and play under the big lights and stuff like that. Which, okay, that Luka seems like he had a little bit of that Hollywood in him, but I mean, that much to blow it all up, he could just cost himself $100 million.
Yeah, not that much. Honestly, Luka doesn't seem like he would want to go to LA for, like, how awkward he looked in that press conference with all those reporters. I don't think he ever would have wanted to go to LA.
It is one of those
big market team like that.
I do wonder, like, what the behind the scenes conversations were with, like, his team and the trainers and management and ownership in Dallas that it got to this point. Like,
right.
Stop being fucking fat. Like, watch what you eat and move your fucking body. You know?
I still know.
Apparently he was like, nah. Like, what the fuck? What happened?
I mean, you don't trade a guy like Luka just because he won't go on your diet plan.
But if it was affecting, he's only played in 22 games this year.
Yeah, that's true. It might have been really effective. It sounds like it was affecting him, but
and he played a ton of minutes last year. Like his dad even brought him. He was like, "Look at his minutes in the playoffs. He barely came out. Like, don't talk to me about his availability."
Right. I mean, because as soon as he goes in as soon as he gets into the playoffs, he's going to that competitive drive is going to turn in and take that team to another level.
Let's actually see where the Lakers are in the standings here.
I think they supposed to play the Packers or the Pacers on tomorrow, Friday night or Saturday night, and that's when Luka's supposed to make his debut.
All right, the Lakers are in 5th place, and Golden State is tied for the last play-in spot.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, they're. What is the playoff seeding for basketball? I forget.
It's 10 teams get in. 7 and 8 play each other, and 9 and 10 play each other.
Okay.
And then 9 and 10, the winner of the 9 and 10 game plays 8 for who's the last team in, and then those are the 8 teams that get seeded.
Okay. So yeah, so Lakers are in it, and they sound like they're solidly in it. I mean,
they're in 5th right now, but I feel like the Warriors are setting up to make a run. I mean, there's 1, 2. I mean, they're 3 games behind Dallas, who is in 8th place actually.
Right. But dude, as soon as he traded Luka, look how devastated that team was. They got like the Cavaliers put up like 50 points in the first quarter on them. Like, that's still something they got to bounce back from, is not having Luka, because it's a totally different team.
Dude, my homeboy's in New Orleans at the Super Bowl. His company does a lot of work for them.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking, there's Max Crosby.
You know,
there's a picture of him right here. Shit, I'll show you. Probably get in trouble for trying to show this. I know it's not going to work, is it? Nah. Oh well.
It's too bright.
Sorry.
You'll have to send that to me.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, he's there with his kids. His kid's like fucking 15. It's like, dude,
Is that
Max
the dude
Crosby, Dad, go talk to him. And it's like, I'm not going to run up on Max Crosby. Are you insane?
Is that the dude who does the signage?
Yeah.
So he was there with the putting in the Rams for Arizona. That was that dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his company.
Dope.
Does all that stuff. So. Yeah,
Dude,
he's
that's
like,
a dope company to be
he's
part
already
of.
had more Super Bowls than some football teams at this point. I'm just like, damn, bro. Must be nice.
Tell them to get up for the job, man. I'll go start painting the fields. I don't mind.
No, they don't do that stuff. They do like the signage and like all the big stuff outside and around the city. And like, yeah, they do that stuff. They do the Final Four. They do F1. They do stuff. So
that's pretty cool.
Anyhow, yeah. So those were the that's the once in a month NBA update that we got here.
Well, I mean, that was a huge drop, though. I mean, with Luka going, that just steamrolled everything. I think if Luka didn't get traded there, I don't think you see the Warriors really push as hard as they did to get a Butler. I know they were shopping around for a superstar, but I don't think they would have dropped all that fucking cash for him.
They asked about LeBron last year. They asked about KD this year. KD kind of made it seem like he didn't want to go back to the Bay. Makes you wonder, like, who else they checked in on that. Like, did they see? I mean, Trae Young's name out of Atlanta, his name comes up in conversations. Carl Anthony Towns, is struggling a little bit, with what's going on in New York. The T-Wolves are kind of falling apart around the seams around Anthony Edwards. Maybe some pieces here could be available, but yeah, Jimmy Butler to the Bay, and I'm sure the Lakers were like, God damn it.
Well, that's probably why they went and traded for that center right off the bat too.
Yeah.
What was his name?
The guy out of Charlotte. Yeah.
Charlotte.
He's the Hornets before. Yeah. So there's your replacement for Anthony Davis's size, and you've got Luka.
Right, and LeBron.
And LeBron, Oh, and Bronny. Don't forget Bronny.
I was waiting for someone to bring it up. I was going to bring it up. I was like, because I think he made his first, he did something his first right in front of Luka, or he got into it with like a fan right in front of Luka, and Luka was all into it.
Nice.
I mean, I don't get how you could play a sport with the fans right on top of you like that. Like in hockey, there's a reason there's a glass there. It's not to protect the fans from the puck. It's to protect the fans from the players.
Yeah, there's some of that too. But I mean, look at new baseball stadiums. I mean, they're right up on top of them.
Right.
Stadiums are a lot more intimate than they used to be. Yeah, there's a net there, and that's not going to stop. Someone from reaching out
and grab someone's glove and rip
it by your neck. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Stuff like that. So, hey, it's comes with the dollars, for the amount of money that these guys get paid. Yeah, we're all human beings. Yeah, it sucks to fail in front of people, but it's a fair amount of money.
Right. I mean, it's very interesting to see how close they are though to the players. I mean, they're literally sitting in their laps. It's not like baseball or even hockey where at least you got the board there.
Yeah. The only two sports you see people really go fall straight into fans are baseball and NBA.
Right. But at least, like I said, in baseball, you have that board there to stop fans from getting in built. Basketball fans are a lot more nonchalant, I feel like, because they stay out of the way because they know those get kicked out and be permanently banned. I'm assuming,
right?
Yeah, if you do something stupid,
Then I feel like tickets like that are a lot harder to come by in the NBA. They're also a lot more expensive, to my understanding, than you can go on StubHub and buy tickets that put you right behind home plate and right on TV on a Tuesday afternoon here in Minneapolis, dude, or something like that. They're available. You just don't go and snatch those up for an NBA game. That's like a down payment on a fucking car, It's just expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a hell of a thing to do, though. Just go sit right next to courtside or right on top of court.
Sitting courtside at a game and someone's watching and be like, fucking Zach.
Right? How the hell did you get tickets to the court?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, is that LeBron? Trip?
No, I would 100% be behaving myself. I'm on list, bro.
Until too many beers go into you.
I would not be drinking at that game. I can actually guarantee you that.
Smart move.
Yeah, no, there's way too much at stake.
Because everybody's going to see it because the cameras definitely on you
Yeah,
for
right,
that
exactly.
close.
Like I am not wealthy nor famous enough to get away with that sort of like career sabotage yet. So no, we're
You'd be like
we're gonna
the Yankee fan who's pretty much done with any baseball.
yeah, he's done with any baseball. I mean, he does seem like he seems like he knows he fucked up.
Yeah, now he does, yeah.
But I also like don't really, could have been a lot worse. Like you're just banned from baseball games.
Right.
So be it.
Yeah, and honestly, rightfully so. You shouldn't.
Well, you know what, dude? It's like put on a fake mask, get a fake ID, fucking sneak into a game. Like
Right.
what are they going to do? Kick you out? They're not going to let you back into a stadium this season. That's for fucking sure.
Right. Yeah, I would just buy tickets, have someone else buy me tickets, and then go. You're definitely not going to go into a Yankees game for a few
Right,
years.
and that was part of what his beef was that he grew up going to Yankees games with his grandpa. It means so much to him at the old stadium and blah blah blah.
Right.
What's up, dude? So Marshall had to go to the vet today, and he's fine, but they had to sedate him a little bit. And I picked this motherfucker up today, and for a change, I was not the most stoned guy in the house. This dude was lit. He's starting to come around a little bit. Like
He's starting to get out that grog that you wake up out of.
Dude, I didn't go to the gym when I brought him home. Like I couldn't get him out of the car. Like I had to pick him up and like squat him down. Like fuck. So I get him inside, and he just went and just laid under the bed like he normally does. I check on him, be like, "Bro, you all right? Like, want some food or water or something?" So
just stoned out of his mind, man. Just stoned out of his mind.
Coming around a little bit, so it's good. But they even told me they're like, "Yeah, he'll sleep good tonight."
That's good. Let's hear Roxy's just going all nuts. You heard her a couple minutes ago in her bed. Bring her bed in here.
I wanted to make a joke. Like they gave me a bunch more drugs for him, like animal painkillers and stuff. I'm like, well, we gotta do a little quality control on this stuff, Marshall. I don't need to be abusing animal painkillers. No, that's like top level Motley Crue type of debauchery, dude. I don't live that way anymore.
Well, you're not gonna crush it up for him so he can just like gone.
No, I don't chop up lines for my dog. Like I will. I do mix it into his. I do crush it up and mix it into his food, but no, I don't rail it up for him, James.
Come on, think about that snoz. How much you could rail through,
dude? No, we have enough. We are just getting shit under control of this household as it is. Like,
fun times.
Yeah, good stuff here. Yeah, it's good stuff here, dude. Speaking of guys who party super hard, did you hear about like the old school metal show to end all metal shows that's happening?
Ozzy.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's the lineup is crazy. Like it's like, dude, I really is it in the UK though?
Or is it going to be? So that's where Black Sabbath started, was in Birmingham, England.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just like, dude, I really want to go, but I don't know if I want to touch the UK soil.
What's wrong with fucking UK soil?
Britain. Fuck them. Fuck the crown.
You fucking idiot, dude. Like, there's a lot of world out there, man. You should go check it out. Like, fuck the crown? What, like we're doing so good over here right now? Dude.
See, I'll happily touch the rest of the world, but out of Britain, now. Until they release Ireland, nah, fuck them.
That's never going to happen in anybody's lifetime. So it's like,
right.
It's they're in the Middle East. Like that shit's done. Like there's not ever getting undone. Come on, dude. The concert's on July the 5th. Means you get there on the 4th. You can go fucking wave your dick around on English soil on the 4th of July. You were missing the whole point here.
I didn't know it was on July 5th.
Yeah, it is. So I was looking at the trip. I was doing the math.
How much are you looking at? How much are we looking at here?
Oh, it's so I found a flight round trip for $1,600, which is actually pretty good. And it wasn't like I can't fly the super cheap way anymore. I have to go like at least like mid tier up. So for $1,600 round trip through Dublin on Air something or other, Air Leprechaun or some shit like that. But it had a layover in Dublin going both ways to Birmingham. Found a hotel. Hotels there are like, 160, 170 a night, and they're like, they're decent hotels in downtown Birmingham. What's cool is they believe in public transportation in the rest of the world. And so you can take a train from the airport to the downtown, and then there's a ton of hotels, and then you can take a train from the downtown directly to the Villa Park, which is where Aston Villa plays. So it's at the big, giant, massive soccer stadium there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude. That's not too bad. How much are the do they announce how much the ticket prices yet?
No, I haven't looked into that yet. They go on sale a week from tomorrow.
Dude, that's one of those things that the scalpers are just gonna fucking manhandle.
Well, it's Ticketmaster in the UK though, so it's not buying domestically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, again, so there's I don't know. I got to do a little bit of research on it. I was trying to talk with my brother and see if anybody wants to go. It's just it's all the bands. It's a lot of bands that I really, really, really like. And it's Black Sabbath for the last time. Yeah, I saw Metallica this year. I've seen Pantera a million times. Slayer is always hey, fucking Slayer. That's pretty cool.
Slayer's always fucking a hit, dude.
Yeah, dude. And it's not Kerry King in a solo band. It's fucking Slayer. I like Gojira at Mastodon. I saw them a couple years ago.
Mastodon's fucking great, dude. Mastodon's great.
Yeah, and especially after living in Atlanta, what those dudes mean to the scene there, it's pretty cool. They seem like actually a fair amount of fun dudes. Ozzy playing some stuff with a solo band, that's always going to be entertaining. And I can go and see some, rock and roll and have an adventure in England. And if I could figure out a way to swing it financially, why not?
I mean, they have credit cards for a reason.
Yeah, so I'm getting too comfortable with that. So I've got to make sure I can put some shit down on this to start with.
Hey, that's where you sign up for one of those cards where that you don't have to pay off for a full year, and it's boom, here you go, whole trip.
I also I need to gather the points and stuff on these too. So
right.
But yeah, it's something to think about.
Keep me informed.
I looked at a lot of hotels last night. I've got the formation of a plan here. And here's the whole thing. Drinkers, people like to party oh man, you got to have a pint of Guinness in Dublin, at some point in your life. And I'm like, does it count if it's at the airport in Dublin?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's still in Dublin. It's it's right there.
It's not at some awesome old school fucking pub. It's the fucking airport, but it's still having a pint of Guinness in Dublin. That counts.
It's still a fresh pint of Guinness, and I think the airport. I think at some bars it's still piped in from the Guinness factory. So I know if you're close enough to the factory, they have literal pipes from the factory to the bars.
Yeah. Maybe next trip. It's there, but yeah. So. I'm thinking about it. It's an idea. It'd be fun.
Like I said, keep me informed.
Yeah.
See what I can do. Can't promise you anything. I'm still trying to get through all the schooling, but that might be something to blow off school for a week or two. And
dude, they're counting on Ozzy to live another 4 months. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts here.
Yeah, there is. Especially with Ozzy. You never know what that means.
And let's also not forget, the world right now, not the most calmest, stable place.
Right. Planes are falling out of the sky.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, as I jump on a fucking foreign aircraft.
Right. Oh, fun times. Fun times we live in.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's actually really all I got this week, dude.
What I got a little bit of a Sharks talk. It sounds like Mark. What was his name? Fierro. Yeah, Fierro might be on the chopping block for the Sharks.
Mario Ferraro.
Ferraro. I thought it was Fierro.
Huh?
Well, the trade block because people are asking about him. Yeah, the trade deadline's coming up on the 7th.
Where's an A? He's one of those captains. Yeah.
But with the way that the Sharks are tanking for first pick again, man, you never know.
Right, I get that. I would say that he probably is a guy who's available. He's a guy you're going to get value back for. So
yeah, definitely.
He's also been with the team a long time, and I don't know if you really want to upset the dressing room like that much. But again, if you're building to the future, this is Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith's team moving forward. I think everybody knows that. That's pretty obvious. So.
And then Ty DeLandra is set to come back. with all of his penalty minutes and a big body as a defenseman. So see how it goes tonight. The game just started,
Okay,
so
cool.
probably turn that on. I mean, they look good. They look great at some points, and then they just can't close it out. Like all of a sudden, it's just
It falls
something
apart.
happens where that rookie moment hits, and you can tell that they're playing against pure professionals, and the goals just pour in, or they're able to go back and forth, and then they just can never keep that fourth in front of them and stay in that. Just kind of keep that lead and keep them. Something happens, they make a mistake, and it goes the opposite way, and Blackwood's not there to save us anymore, and we're 2-11, since he's been gone, or like we're like 3-20 or something since he's gone, or something like that. It's crazy, ridiculous how hard that trade was for a tank.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
that was my short.
I do feel like the goalie of the future is on the roster, and it's a lot of the struggles are what's going on in front of him. They're not doing him a whole lot of favors. But there are
Right.
also those moments where you see it like working how it's supposed to, and you're like, there it is. And they'll look good for big stretches of games, and then just completely forget how to play. Yeah.
I mean, against the other night against Montreal, they look great for most of the game. Like I said, it's just back and forth, back and forth. They just can't keep that lead. And who knows? Maybe if the rest gave us the goal, because it actually went under his glove, and then you could see him kind of kick it around the goalpost. I don't know how you don't call it a goal, but you can't. It was what was they say? Not definitive enough to call a goal for the Sharks, so they had to keep it the original call on the ice, which was tic tac, but whatever.
Yeah, it's yeah.
You're not big of enough superstar yet, Celebrini, to get those calls yet.
Not yet, but he's definitely getting on lots of teams' radars. Curious to see how physically he holds up down the stretch as teams start, I think, getting a little more physical with him. That's another problem with getting rid of Ferraro, is he is very much a defender of Macklin Celebrini out there. And there's also lots of big dudes in San Jose, and there's other big dudes on the bench there. Like, you protect this man at all costs. Like that's
why I brought up the Thai guy. He's out there being an impressive body to make sure no one really comes and fucks with Celebrini.
Yeah.
So you need it. He needs it. He's barely 18 years old, man, playing with the adults and doing what he does, dude.
100% the rookie of the year this year. I mean, that's as plain as day.
Right. Well, I mean, the Montreal guy is doing pretty well too. They're like right there with points.
Right.
But he has a better team around him in Montreal than the
I was going to say, I think based on the talent level, what Macklin Celebrini is doing is pretty fantastic.
Right. So that's my Sharks news. My gripe about how bad the Sharks are doing for first place for the overall pick.
Yeah, which is they're not going to give the Sharks the number one pick 2 years in a row, but they'll have another high pick.
Why they gave it to Edmonton for like 6 years?
Haven't they changed the rules since then?
Yeah, so you can only get it 3 times in a row.
Right. So they could actually get it a second time in a row then.
Yeah. Right now they have the highest possibility to get it again because they're in last place.
Right. Who's the consensus number one coming out this year? Is there anyone?
I don't remember his name off the top of my head. There is a consensus number one out there. I think he was a defender. I could be wrong though. I'd have to double check. I haven't looked at. It's still too early in the season for that. I kind of wait until after trade deadline to kind of look at like, draft picks, this and that. I kind of wait for about March, usually a little bit later into March, to kind of looking at who they're looking at to get.
Yeah, because I mean, when's the Frozen Four and all that stuff?
That's at the end of this week. So Saturday is the last Sharks game, and then
not the tournament, the Frozen Four in college.
I don't remember when the Frozen Four is in college. Honestly, I'd have to look that up.
I think that
isn't that in. Didn't that already happen? Didn't that happen in January or no?
No. April.
Yeah. So after it, we'll find out more in April. Then that's probably when I start.
Generally, when some kid comes out and is like, scored 7 goals.
Right. Yeah. This guy should be on your radar.
Right. Yeah. You should learn how to spell this name. Yeah. Exactly.
Good luck with that. I ain't spelling shit right. All right. Well, I think that go ahead and does it for us tonight then. Unless you got any other good sports stories that you remember happened throughout the week.
No, nothing really. It was trade, lot of trade deadline, a lot of Super Bowl mumbling. Yeah, that's really that's why that's mostly what we talked about.
Right. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. It's the best game of the year. Or actually, we're supposed to say big game. We're not supposed to say Super Bowl.
Fucking Super Bowl, these nuts.
All right, everybody. Please like, comment, follow, subscribe. Do all that. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Leave a comment. Leave your hate. Do what you need to do. We're here for it all.
Yeah. Unburden yourself. Free yourself of the weight of your opinion of our podcast.
And remember, guys, the easiest way to make money is to scare you on the internet. Everybody, good night.
See you guys.